Hi everyone, my name's Jonathan, and this is Abbie. Today we're going to do a 30-minute slow flow. So taking a page out of Abbie's playbook, we're going to slow it right down, do what feels good, and maybe after the practice, you can take a long nap. Just make sure it's after the practice. If you have them, I'd like you to grab a pair of blocks and a blanket. And if you don't have blocks, you can always grab a couple books. I've even seen people use pots and pans. Anything firm you can put weight into. Once you have everything, you're ready. Lay out your mat, find a comfortable seated position, and close your eyes. Once the eyes are closed, rest the palms either face down or face up. Allow the spine to stack up nice and tall. Follow your breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Comfortable and easy. Flowing in and out. Place the left hand over your heart, right hand over the belly. Then as you follow your breath, allow for expansion with the inhales, contraction with the exhales. Filling up and emptying out. Before we add any movement to the practice, acknowledging the space that we're starting with. And take one more inhale, fill all the way up. Open your mouth and sigh out the breath. Palms connect in prayer at heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. Let's start our time to the sound of a single Om. Inhale. Blink the eyes open, release the hands. Take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand to the floor behind you, and sit tall. Look over the right shoulder. Notice that twist radiate all the way from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to release through center, right hand to the left knee, left hand to the floor behind you, sit tall. Look over the left shoulder, and without judging the process, noticing the difference between left and right side. Sit a little taller on an inhale, crown of the head reaching away from the tailbone. And as you exhale, come back through center. Lower the right ear towards the right shoulder, lengthening the left side of the neck. And then back up through center, left ear towards the left shoulder, lengthening the right side of the neck. Back up through center, touch the teeth together without clenching the jaw, and lift the chin up towards the ceiling. Lengthening the front of the throat. Back up through center, tuck the chin towards your chest, feeling a slight tug in the back of the neck. And come back up through center. Roll over the legs from your tabletop position. Take the knees as wide as the mat. Big toes touch near the back of the mat. Hips sink to the heels. Walk the hands forward. Balasana, child's pose. In your child's pose, as you settle into the legs, walk the hands a little further forward, making the arms long and the torso even longer. As we find each shape, as we move, as we flow slowly, keep the breath flowing, comfortably in through the nose and out through the nose. Take an inhale. As you exhale, walk the hands just slightly off the right side of the mat, lengthening left side of the body. Breathe into the shoulder and side body. Inhale. Exhale to come back through center and walk the hands just slightly off the left side of the mat. Breathing into the right shoulder and right side body. One more inhale. And exhale to come back through center. Shift forward into tabletop, palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Exhale, tuck and round the spine. Inhale to lift and arch. Exhale into tuck and round. Inhale into lift and arch. One more time. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, lift and arch. Coming back to neutral, a bit more weight into the left palm. Inhale, reach the right arm up and open. Exhale, release the right hand down to the floor. Inhale, reach the left arm up and open. Exhale, release the left hand down to the floor. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale to release it to the floor. Inhale, left hand up. Exhale to release it to the floor. One more time. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, release it to the floor. Inhale, left hand up. Exhale, release it to the floor. Bring the knees together, untucking the toes. As you sit towards the heels, slide the palms back so they're face up next to the feet. Connecting the torso to the thighs, bring the forehead down towards the floor. And if you do need to modify this shape, for a few of us that feel like the head is floating quite a ways away from the floor, using a block, you can rest the forehead on a block. You might have to turn that up higher if you're a little bit tighter. If you're lucky to be very tight, maybe even to the highest setting. If you feel that there's another way that would prop and support the body, you are welcome to take another option. You're settling into that modified child's pose. Breathe into the upper back, mid back, and low back. Bring some attention to your shoulders and notice if you're holding tension consciously or unconsciously in the shoulders. Can you allow the shoulders to soften and almost feel like they're reaching towards the floor? The arms are fully relaxed. Breath still flowing comfortably in through the nose and out through the nose. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale the breath, slide the hands forward. Come forward into a tabletop. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Squeeze right shoulder towards right hip, feeling side body engage. And then left shoulder towards left hip, side body engage. Right hip to right shoulder. Left hip to left shoulder. One more time. Right hip to right shoulder. Left hip to left shoulder. Coming back through neutral, tuck the toes. Grip into your fingertips and the knuckles, especially the index knuckle and the thumb knuckle. Push it down into the floor. And then begin to lift the knees up off the mat, reaching your bum up towards the ceiling. Downward facing dog. Little bend in the knees if you happen to be a little bit tight in the shape the first couple times we practice it. Pushing into the palms. The neck is nice and long. Relax the muscles in your jaw, in your face. If it feels nice, just be still and static. We need a bit of dynamic movement, carefully pedaling out the heels, bending one knee at a time, letting the hips go side to side. Wag the dog's tail. Abbie knows a thing or two about that. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Take a big step to the top of the mat. And if you have to take a few steps, no problem. When you get to the top of the mat, add a halfway lift. Inhale. And then exhale to fold. Root down into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up and reach for the ceiling. Grow tall. Exhale, draw the palms through prayer. Samasthiti. Tadasana. Palms turning forward. Loop the shoulders up, back, and down, engaging the muscles between the shoulder blades, feeling the heart pull forward. You might even check in with belly and back here, touching belly and back, and just notice if when you try to stand really tall, you have a tendency to arch the spine quite a bit. Can you tuck the tailbone somewhat here? Feel the torso get nice and tall, elongating the spinal column. Begin to shift the weight towards the left foot. Pick up the right foot, just a couple inches. Doesn't have to be very much. Drishti point is steady at something in front of you that isn't moving. If you want to challenge the balance, just really simply, close the eyes. removing the visual system challenges the inner ear to work with proprioception, and you might lose your balance. If that happens, no problem, reset, try again. Eyes open to start, and then closing the eyes, challenging the balance. Oh yeah. The eyes are still closed, amazing. Blink the eyes open, release the right foot to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up. And in slow motion, exhale, hinge at the hips, little bend to the knees if you need, fold forward all the way over the legs. Halfway lift, inhale. As you exhale, fingertips find the floor. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Lower the knee down, untuck the toes. Inhale, hands to the hips. Exhale, press the hips forward. Feeling a lengthening of the left side. You can have the arms reaching up. You can have the arms reaching back behind you and interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Both work well. One's a bit more strengthening for the shoulders, lengthening for side body. One's more stretching for the shoulders. Take one more inhale. Exhale to release the hands down to the floor. Tuck the back toes, pick up the knee. Low runner's lunge, like you're at the start line. Press into the feet. Inhale, come all the way back up. So now the legs are working a little bit. When we say slow flow, it doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. This might be challenging for you. The arms can reach up. They could reach back behind you and interlace the fingers. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Heart trying to point up towards the ceiling. Both options work well, they're just a little different. Give yourself one more breath. And exhale, release left hand down towards the floor. Right arm reaches up. Notice if there's a tendency to want to lift your hip up along with that right arm. Pull the right hip down as the right arm reaches up. Abbie, you're not a very good demo. Gotta tell you. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release the right hand down to the floor. Pick up the right foot and step it all the way to the back of the mat. Lower all the way down towards your belly. Pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel up chest and chin. Baby cobra, doesn't have to be very far. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Press yourself up to tabletop and pause in your tabletop. In that tabletop this time, turn the thumbs forward, the fingertips to the edge of the mat. Wrists are still pretty much under the shoulders, so don't bring the hands too close. You don't have to bring them so far apart either. About shoulder width. Drawing small circles with your torso. Keep all of your knuckles and fingertips pushing into the floor. Massaging the wrist joint. You might notice your shoulders here still, your hips, maybe even your knees. Keep that circle going. And then changing directions. Notice if the sensation is different when you go the opposite way. You come back through to center. Nice, turn the hands, press into the palms, tuck the toes. Find a downward facing dog. Sit bones lifting up towards the ceiling. If it feels good to be still and static, then be still and static. Otherwise, pedal up the heels, bending one knee at a time, taking the hips side to side in your downward facing dog. Last couple breaths. Carefully walking your hands all the way back towards the feet. Find a forward fold the back of the mat, catch opposite elbows, and dangle over the legs. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your nose. Down. Those nails are very noisy, Abbie. Stay. Relax. Relax. Take one more inhale in your standing forward fold. Open your mouth, side outs. Releasing the elbows. Inhale, roll up to stand. Head comes up last. Really taking your time to rise up. And once you're all the way up, Checking out the balance, left to right foot. The shoulders loop up, back, and down. Palms turn forward. If you need to check in with the back bend, maybe you have a tendency to anterior tilt the pelvis forward, and back bend in this shape. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Lift the hip points up. Engage the abdominal wall ever so slightly. Tadasana. Shifting the weight towards the left foot. Drive the right knee up. You might catch the ankle, place the sole of the foot to the left inner thigh, and push. Adduct to the center line in your tree pose. Palms can come into prayer. Look at a drishti point, something in front of you that isn't moving. And if you are feeling a bit frisky, you want to challenge your balance, take that external drishti points internally to the third eye. Close your eyes. You'll notice the left foot gets a little noisy. There's some movement, but as long as you don't try to stop that movement, you maintain the balance. The moment you try to stop the movement, we lose the balance. Right? Balance is that constant search for equilibrium. Right? There's some movement to our balance. The eyes are still closed. Well done. Blink them open. Drive the right knee up and release the right foot down to the floor. Give it a little shake. Nicely done. Inhale, sweep the arms up. In slow motion, hinging at the hips, little bend to the knees, fold forward all the way over the legs. Carefully walk the hands back to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog. Look forward on the inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, step or jump to the top of the mat. When you get there, halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Rooting down into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, grow tall. Exhale, draw the palms through prayer. Samasiddhi. Tadasana. Again, looping the shoulders up, back and down. Palms turn to face forward. Little tuck to the tailbone. Check in with left side, right side. The balance that we feel or maybe don't feel. Slight variation. If you'd like, you can reach the arms back behind you and interlace the fingers, squeezing shoulder blades together. If you'd rather reach the arms up, you're welcome to that variation. Use an exhale, hinge and fold all the way over the legs. Releasing the arms. If they're bound, whoops, halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold. When the hands find the floor, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Lower the knee down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, hands to the hips. And exhale, press the hips forward. Noticing the right hip flexors. Thankfully, I did 0 damage to any of our plants, or Queenie might kill me. Breathing comfortably in through the nose and out through the nose. If you'd like to add on, you can add the arms reaching up. You can also sweep them back behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together, and lift the heart up. Keep pulling the belly in slightly, the ribs in. One more inhale. Exhale. Carefully release. Right hand comes down to the floor. Tuck the back toes. Ooh, not yet, sorry. Come to fingertips. Low runner's lunge, like you're about to take off. And then pushing into the feet really firmly, floating the hands up off the floor. Reach them either up if you wish, or again, you can sweep them back behind you, interlace the fingers, and squeeze shoulder blades together. Strong legs, heart is lifting up. Got one more breath here. Exhale, release the right hand down to the floor. Lift the left arm up and twist. And notice as you lift the left arm up, does the hip try to follow? Pull the left hip down, the right hip slightly up as you twist towards the left thigh. Take one more breath. Beautiful work. Exhale, release left hand down to the floor. Pick up the left foot, step it back. Lower all the way down to your belly. And once you release to the belly, pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel up chest and chin. Baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. And one more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Press into the palms. Come up to a tabletop. In that tabletop position, you can bring the legs together, tucking the toes. Walk the hands back towards your knees. And come up into a kneeling shape, sitting on the feet. toes are tucked. If this is way too intense, you grab your blocks, put the blocks next to the hips, push down with the hands, making it a little bit less intense, less weight in the feet. Still way too intense, the hands can stay on the floor. You can also just stack the hips over the knees with the toes tucked. All options work well, they're just a little different. So we bring some attention here to the soles of the feet, to the ankles. You might even feel this into the Achilles tendon and calf, depending on how tight your ankles are when they're in dorsiflexion. This means the top of the foot trying to reach towards the shin. Couple breaths here. In through the nose, out through the nose. You get to your last exhale, carefully take the hands down to the floor. Step the feet back, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Give it a little pedal. Notice the space you're starting to create in the back of the legs, in the spine, in the shoulders, in the hips. You can walk the hands all the way back to the back of the mat. No rush to get there. When you do arrive at the back of the mat, couple options. Either catching opposite elbows and dangling, letting the torso get closer to the thighs. You might use your peace fingers, middle index and thumb. Grab the big toes. Elbows bend out to the sides of the room. Padangusthasana. In your Padangusthasana, pulling the torso closer to the thighs. Elbows drawing out to the sides of the room, and the neck is quite free. Don't tense up the neck in an effort to stretch the hamstrings. One more big breath. Exhale, release the toes or the elbows. Inhale, roll up to stand. Head comes up last. Tadasana, mountain pose. Feeling the balance here, left to right, front to back. You can check in with whether you have a lot of back bending going on here. Get rid of some of that back bend. And then shifting the weight over to the right foot, drive the left knee up towards the ceiling. You can catch the ankle, place the sole of the foot to the right inner thigh, engage to the midline. You call that adducting, adducting. So the foot presses into the thigh pushes back into the foot. Palms connect in prayer. In your tree pose, you might choose to look at something in front of you that isn't moving, an external drishti points. You can also carefully close the eyes if you wish, and move that external drishti point internally. You may notice some wiggle, some movement. And really, the worst case scenario is you lose your balance and you have to try again. No problem. Reset. Breathe. If the eyes are still closed, amazing work. Blink them open. Drive the left knee up and forward. And then release the foot down to the floor. Give it a little shake. Inhale, reach the arms up. In slow motion, hip hinge and fold all the way down. Carefully walk the hands to the top of the mat. It's our final downward facing dog. And you have a couple options. You can make your way down to your knees and then find your way onto your bum. Or look forward. Bend the knees. Hop to a seated position. Then extend the legs forward. Give them a little shake. Keep your blocks and your blanket somewhere nearby. You can access it once you're lying down. And then slowly, we'll roll all the way down, releasing onto the spine. Soft and easy. Comfortable breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Bend your knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Pressing into the soles of the feet, take the palms, press into the floor next to the hips. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, lower them back down. Inhaling to lift, and exhaling to lower. One more time. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Take one block, your book, something that has some width to it. Place it in between the thighs. Squeeze to the midline. Now the width, it's really set up so that the thighs stay relatively parallel and hip width. Pressing into the palms, hold that block, push into the feet, lift the hips up. Soles of the feet stay flat on the floor. There's a little bit more sensation here of stretch to the hip flexors, which are have a tendency to shorten when we sit all the time. They atrophy and tighten. If you want to go a little bit further into your Setu Bandhasana, interlacing the fingers behind the back, squeezing shoulder blades together, and driving that fist down, lift the hips up. Bridge pose. Push into the arms just as much as you are pushing into the feet to lift the hips up. You've got one more breath. Release the arms first. Lay the spine down one vertebra at a time. Removing the block. You can windshield wiper the knees to the right and to the left. Massaging the outer hip. Come back to center. Nice. Finding one or two blocks. You can even use a rolled up blanket. Both options work really well. Lift the hips up. Take one block or two blocks underneath the sacrum. This is the flat piece of bone below your low back, but above your tailbone. So you don't feel like you're pinching into the lumbar spine here. It's right at the back of the pelvis, quite supported and comfortable. You can stay with the knees bent. You can also try stepping the feet towards the top of the mat and lying flat over the block, stretching the front of the hips. If what you feel is low back, then you might be a bit high. You're always welcome to bend the knees, lift up, remove one block, maybe even taking the block that you were on to a higher setting and just having one block, and then trying again and seeing if that height is more appropriate for your hips tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, whenever you're watching this video. Guys, teaching virtually is weird. Thanks for being a part of it. Take a last breath, especially filling up the belly. Open your mouth, sigh that breath out. Carefully bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Lift the hips up off your prop, remove it off to the side. Lay the spine down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Windshield wiper the knees to the right and to the left. And for this last shape, finding your blankets, unfurl your blankets and use it like a blanket. Lying flat, have the palms face up a little ways away from the thighs. Just as important as any movement, the end of the practice, the Savasana portion, it's not just a filler pose. This is where we notice the body, the breath, the state of mind, what might have shifted and changed for us through this practice of yoga. Starts to reveal the purpose behind your practice. Soften the muscles in your face. Allow your jaw to relax, the teeth to separate. That release radiates down the length of the spine, down each arm, down your legs. Nothing else you have to worry about optimizing or achieving. Your practice is complete, and so are you. If you feel like you need a longer Shavasana, you are welcome to it. Simply press pause, set a timer, stay as long as you wish. Otherwise, reconnecting to your breath. As the breath flows in through your nose and out through your nose, allow it to reconnect you to the body. Move your fingers, move your toes. Turn your head side to side. And then inhaling, reach the fingertips to the wall behind you, toes to the wall in front of you, stretch. Exhale and soften. One more time, inhale to stretch. Exhale to soften. Left palm to the belly, bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, and roll to right side body. In your own time, coming all the way up into a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or kneeling. You can use your blanket over your lap or over your shoulders, get nice and cozy. Sitting nice and tall, allowing the foundation to settle. You can rest the palms either face up or face down on the knees. Close your eyes. Notice your breath. Comfortably flowing in through your nose and out through your nose. Place the left hand over the heart, right hand over the belly. Allow an inhale to expand the torso. Take up some space. And then open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Palms connect in prayer, heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. Revisit your intention. Carry that with you off your mat and into the rest of your week. Send our time together to the sound of a single Om. Inhale. Bow your heads. Thanks for being here to share this energy. Please take some of this with you off your mat. Share with everyone that you love. Namaste. As always, I appreciate you being here. Abbie appreciates you being very quiet so she can sleep and nap. If you have any questions for me, please do send us a message via our Instagram at Phair Yoga, at Jonathan Phair. You can also leave a comment below on our YouTube page. Thank you everyone for being here. See you next time.